San Diego State women's basketball is doing something special right now. And if you're not paying attention, you should be. They just won back-to-back postseason games. They're 27-5. They're tied for the most wins in program history, and they're doing it with elite defense and clutch execution. They beat UC Irvine in a game with 12 lead changes, closed out an 8-0 run, then turned around and dominated McNeese, holding them to just 27% shooting. Oh, and here's the craziest part. They're 25 for 25 from the free throw line in the postseason. Perfect. That's discipline. It's composure. That's winning basketball. Now they get Kansas. And this is where we find out, are they just having a great season, or is this the best team San Diego State has ever had in women's basketball? Because right now, they look like a team that's not ready to be done. It's been a packed week across the board for San Diego State athletics, highlighted by a historic run for the women's basketball team, while baseball and softball showed flashes, but also some inconsistency. But the biggest headline, Aztec women's basketball is rolling in the postseason. This team is officially one of their better teams in program history. They knocked off Irvine 61-55 in a thriller, and they followed it up with a dominant 56-41 win over McNeese.
Yeah, it was a great game. First from UC Irvine, 12 lead changes, 9 ties, close on an 8-0 run. Naomi Pangiaban, hopefully, 22 points, perfect from the free throw line. Then followed up again by that game against McNeese, held McNeese to 27% shooting, forced 15 turnovers. And they had balanced scoring across the board. And again, as you had mentioned, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That is huge in the women's, the WBIT.
WBIT, which is different than the WNIT, if you will. But yeah, that's I don't care what tournament you're in.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but 2 games so far, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That's going to win you basketball games night in and night out. 27 wins on the season, tie school record, first postseason win since 2013. They're now headed to face the number 2 seed Kansas Jayhawks women's basketball team in the WBIT. This team winning with defense, the discipline, and the clutch execution in this particular tournament. Let's go to the Diamond, where baseball had left some opportunities on the table. It's been a frustrating stretch for Aztecs baseball. They lost 7-4 to the 13th ranked USC Trojans despite out-hitting them. They left 10 runners on base. They had an extra inning loss to San Jose State over the weekend, and then they had split results in a doubleheader. They beat UConn and then lost a tight one to San Jose State. Theme of the week, they're creating chances, but they're not finishing right now.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. And again, that's that outing against USC in the middle of the week, leaving 10 runners on base. That is a lot, and that's something we've spoken a lot about when it comes to Aztec baseball, is they're getting hits, but they're not getting the timely hits that you need in order to capitalize on those mistakes, especially against the number 13 team in the country. That would have been huge. And then losing both games to San Jose State while taking one against UConn. It's a very up and down week, mostly down, unfortunately, for the Aztec baseball program.
Let's go to softball. High drama and some big swings for the softball team. They had one of the wildest weekends you will see. They dropped first 2 games to UNLV Rebel softball. Then they responded with a 13-7 comeback win. 8 runs in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Huge swings from Jade Ignacio and Jasmine Williams. Team showed resilience, offensive firepower, and ability to explode late. I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care what level of baseball or softball you're playing. You put up 8 runs in the final inning with 2 outs. That's a pretty impressive deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to salvage the final game of the weekend series against UNLV, there's a huge aspect as well to it. And that late in the game, very, very good on them for that.
As far as women's basketball is concerned, again, as we mentioned before, they now get Kansas. And if they bring the same defensive identity and intensity and composure, they have a real shot to really shock some people in this game against Kansas in the WBIT. But here's what's coming up next. Women's basketball at Kansas in the WBIT semifinal. Baseball looks to clean up their execution, and softball heads to New Mexico after momentum building comeback. But that's your update on San Diego State Aztec athletics as we get to the spring season. Women's basketball doing a really good job. But again, last basketball team standing in town.